Hey everybody, this is Joby, and today we're going to talk about the combat changes that are coming to Update 35, and I don't really like them. I mean, I'm not going to quit the game or anything, and I'll still play and figure it out, but I just, I don't think I don't think it's a good idea. It doesn't make any sense, and we'll talk about that more when we come back. But first, let's go ahead and go to the ESO News webpage that summarizes the combat changes. The patch notes are not out yet. They won't be out until Monday when the PTS comes up. And we can just take a look at that. All right. Okay, so we're on the ESO News page. And I'll leave a link to the description if you want to come pour over this. Update 35 preview combat changes. All right, so this is some hyperbole and stuff they're talking about. They want to reduce the need of large sweeping changes and all that. This is all stuff they've been saying. And this is something that's a little bit offensive, is that they say, and a continuation of the attempt to quell some of the obscene damage production at the high end. Okay, I'm just going to say one thing. The reason there's obscene damage production is because of all the crazy sets that ZOS is putting into the game. There's nothing that players are doing. Like, if they put a set that does crazy damage, people are going to use it. That's just the way it goes. Everybody's using Oakensole. They put that in there. And obscene, what a word to use for damage production. People are getting 190k on dummies and stuff like that. It's not obscene to me. It's just you're using what's available in the game. So Reliquin and Dark Convergence and all these stuff with the CP and everything, and people are just destroying people and destroying dungeons and stuff. Not obscene to me. Very fun, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. I think it's a bad choice of words. So here it comes. Weaving. Currently, to be truly effective in ESO combat, not true. You need to learn to manipulate something that is known as weaving. Not true either. You can still get by without even doing it. I'm very latent, probably 650, 700 ping. So a lot of times my weaves don't work. I just keep going, and then sometimes they hit. I do all right. And this refers to the act of squeezing multiple actions into global cooldown windows. So the global cooldown is some milliseconds, means you can't activate any other skill within that time. You start a light attack or a heavy attack, usually a light attack, and then you hit your skill at the same time. If you keep doing it, you'll hit it. I showed everybody that the other day when I was hitting that 47,000 ad in the world. In PvP it's different. They have super high resistances, but I hit that ad with like Haunted Curse, and then once that started ticking, I did a light attack weave with Mage's Wrath and Crushing Shock, I think, and it just blew up. Okay, so that's one way to do it. It doesn't hit for me all the time. And all this stuff, you guys can read it. It's just basically saying that they're excited that people feel it helps our combat feel different and exciting. And then, however, the impact of weaving leads to a massive gap in performance, where players who cannot interact with it as effectively are left miles behind those who can. Now, if you have arthritis or you have a disability, okay, I understand. You probably can't do it. You can't press the buttons fast enough. But for the most part, I would say 90% of the players that cannot do weaving is because they don't practice. Maybe they've never had it explained to them. ESO's tutorials are not there. There's nothing that talks about that or how to do it. I don't know if they consider it an exploit. They've never done anything about it before, never said anything. But when they say where players who cannot interact with it, so if they're talking about disabled people, I'd like to see the numbers and the percentages. How many are they talking about? And if they're nerfing it because it's like, I don't know, 2% of the player base, doesn't exactly seem like a fair thing to do. I'm not saying anything bad. I have sympathy for people that have some disability. I have disabilities. I'm dyslexic and I have verbal aphasia and from minimal brain dysfunction when I was a kid, and my teachers called me retarded and all kinds of stuff. I'm not crying about it, and I understand when people are in pain and stuff, that's bad and they want to play games, but this seems like a real virtue signal to me. Just like I was talking about, this equality of outcome thing, and it's just infecting our world, and they're left behind by those who can. Now, people who can weave and do very well, they've been playing the game for years and they've been practicing. And if somebody just comes into the game, or they've even been playing the game for a long time, and they're just trying to learn how to weave, it's going to take time and you're going to fail a lot. And failing is a good thing. If you're just succeeding all the time, you're not doing hard enough stuff. You know, if you're getting 100 on a test in school, the test was not hard enough. And people are always just like bragging about the score, and they need to understand that that doesn't mean anything. A test is a self-check to see what parts you're weak in. That's all. And that's what failing is too. It's just a way to move on to something else or try a different strategy. And it says it's unavoidable, and the mastery of ESO, you know, or any activity using a similar system, particularly satisfying, and we want to do that. We can shorten that delta. No, you can't. I just disagree totally. I absolutely and strongly oppose this nerf, and I disagree with what they're saying. And they're talking about, you know, this is just like saying people who have a lot of stuff because they worked hard, you know, and people that don't have a lot of stuff because they're either lazy or whatever, because there's a lot of those people. And it's really, I don't understand. It's not going to work. And then the closer between the low and the high end, and easier to create content that can easier to create content that can accommodate a wider audience. Yeah, so we just add a lot of water to the drink and then make it just be like flat for everybody. So making it a natural progression point. This is all just blah 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 blah. I mean, it's hyperbole and it doesn't even make sense. And then there's another thing that is really crazy, where they say we're reducing light and heavy attacks, impacts, and damage production by adjusting their damage to deal a flat amount, regardless of stats. So it's always going to be 3,000 or something. Doesn't matter. You won't be able to make it bigger, and I don't know what they're going to do with the champion point tree. Just a lot more work. And then they say they've investigated a considerable amount of time in the baseline experience, and that a new player would have with these attacks. Well, when you're a new player, you have huge light attacks because there's buffs on the new player. I remember when I would level up characters, I'd be getting 20,000 for a light attack. And I'm like, wow, what's happening? You know, buff up, of course. And then my friend told me, yeah, because it scales. So I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about. I mean, I know a lot about the game, and I've been playing longer than these new devs have been with this company. So I'm sure they're great at computer coding, but I don't think they play the game. And using that as our starting point for how much damage they do moving forward. And then the aim is not harm the low-end experience and target only the higher end. In doing so, we hope to reduce the difference. I'm not high end. I'm like average in the middle. But I don't think it's fair because these people spend a lot of time to do lots of stuff. And those low-ender players, they don't even contact with these people because all they do is go into trials and practice all the time. So we hope to reduce the difference in damage potential in a way that retains the satisfaction of learning to weave where the impact is still felt, but to a much less degree than before. Okay, well, and then, you know, this is talking about the average build sees roughly 50 to 20% of their overall damage coming from light attacks alone. You're going to have to come read this because it's, you know, it's just them making stuff up. I don't know. How exactly do they find out that the builds are getting 15 to 20%? That's like so much data. And then, I don't know. If you're doing that, wow, maybe you could spend your time doing other stuff. And with this adjustment, they'll be doing a number of changes to sets and passives and buffs. It's a lot of work. Now this is what kills me. So they say, we've heard your cries, heavy attack build lovers, and we want better for you without introducing unheavy gameplay between PvE and PvP. How are they going to have a heavy attack build that can one-shot people, and that's why people are complaining in PvP, and then you're still going to be able to do it, but they're going to drop down light attacks and kill weaving? I don't even know what to say, to be honest. So combat effects and the area of effect, this is another whole thing. They're going to increase the buffs, duration, but the seconds per tick is going to be less. So it's really going to just end up being about the same, but it's just going to last longer, and then like people won't have to worry about rotation. Really what it's trying to do is just, it's going to make it so you don't have to press so many buttons, but it's kind of going to be the same. I don't know, maybe it'll be good. You guys come read this and you tell me what you think. Those are just a couple of the points that I feel are extremely irritating, and it just seems like they're making a lot of work for themselves. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I really have no idea. No matter what, I'll still be playing and I'll check it out and give y'all a report. Maybe it won't even come true. Stuff on the PTS, a lot of times it doesn't go through, just like Inner Beast, and I was freaking out. And then they just made it where it doesn't attack other players. Well, this video is already a little bit too long, so you guys, I'll leave a link in the description. You can come check it out and read it, and you can either say yay or you can get mad like I did or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's out of my control. I shouldn't even care. All right, let's get back in the game. Okay, so those are the combat changes. They're basically nerfing light and heavy attacks. What's going on is this is equality of outcome. You know, in most situations, you try to have equality of opportunity. Everybody has the same resources. Everybody has the same ability to practice and things like that. It doesn't count if you don't have time. That's a personal issue. If you don't have time to play that much, or you don't want to practice, or you just want to go do dungeons or whatever, that doesn't come into opportunity. Opportunity just means here's the game. Everybody has equal access to everything. You can, just in the base game, you can practice weaving and you can get it all down. But this is equality of outcome. And they're just trying to say, like, well, some players are better and they have a natural ability, and other people don't have a natural ability and they're not able to do it. And I totally disagree with this. It's like saying, oh, look how good Michael Jordan is. He can jump and hang and get so much hang time, and it's not fair to all of us other people that can't spend the time to practice to jump like that. Sure, he might have some natural ability, and that's true. Some players in this game might have their hands might be faster reflexes or something like that, but just bringing down the ceiling to make people at the lower end of the spectrum, they won't have higher DPS, the people down, if you nerf light attacks. My friend D was pointing out to me a forum post where the guy was saying, well, actually what will happen is nerfing light attacks and heavy attacks will make those lower end people even worse, because that's all they do is light attack and heavy attack. And I'm not trying to put people down. You can play however you want. But if you want to be better, I've always said it's about rotation, using weaving, animation canceling, if you can learn it. I can't even do it that well. The other day when I was showing everybody Oaken Soul, I did get a perfect weave in, and it's just compressing the time into the global cooldown window. And what I got was I had put a this is easy. I mean, you could probably still do it even though it won't do that much damage with light attack. You just put a haunting curse on them, and then right when it's about to go off, you hit them with Mage's Wrath and a light attack, all at the same time, and the burst will explode them. That's kind of weaving. Weaving is just using a light attack and another skill at the same time. If you time it right, it works out perfect, and all the attacks that you have done combined with the light attack go in, which is light attack 6,000 to 9,000. And they're going to nerf it down to where it's just flat damage. It doesn't matter what your set is. They're kind of taking like theory crafting out and just throwing it out so everybody gets the same thing. But I'm telling you, the people that I've worked with, there are people that try very hard and practice. They hit dummies, or they go into dungeons. They just do a lot of practicing, and they get their hands down to where they can do their rotation very well. Those people are still going to have high DPS, and those people are still going to be able to figure it out. They'll do something else. I don't know, 2 light attacks at once, or who knows what will happen. But those high level, high DPS people will still be up there, and those lower people that either don't have time to practice, or they just can't get the timing down, or whatever, they're still going to just be like light attacking with their bow or light attacking with their weapon in the dungeon, and their damage will be even lower. Okay, so it's not going to raise the ceiling. All they're doing is lowering the high end. And I don't really get that kind of mentality, like, oh, these people have worked for something and they're good, so let's punish them because we're jealous. It doesn't even make any sense at all. I've never agreed with any of that kind of philosophy. And it's like a postmodernism philosophy. Don't like it, never have. And I'm just off here by myself looking out my window and telling all the postmodernists to get off my lawn. But that's just me. It's a bad idea, bad move. Don't agree with it at all, but who cares what I think? Well, that's about it for today. Please give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the light attack nerf. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Don't be afraid to say your opinion if you disagree with me. Just explain yourself. Don't call anybody names or say anybody's stupid because they don't get it. If you feel I don't get it, then explain to me why I don't get it and try to change my mind. I can say yesterday when I got all the comments from a lot of people that do like Tales of Tribute, it really motivated me to try to think about I'm gonna try to learn the game and do better, because I saw the people, and a lot of people, what they were saying was made a lot of sense. And a lot of times I'll read stuff and I'll be like, oh wow, you're right. It never bothers me to be wrong and to change my mind. It never has bothered me. It doesn't bother me now. I change my mind all the time, and it's great. Join me on Discord, the most chill Discord server on the planet. There's a link in the description. And if you're not doing anything at 15 p.m. Eastern Time, follow me on Twitch. Upper Echelon Mediocrity is the name of the channel. If you're on Xbox North American server, you can join my guild. My guild's name is Upper Echelon Mediocrity. It's just like the YouTube channel. And right now we have 485 total members, no members pending, and 51 people online. Lots of helpful, friendly people. We're not in the guild finder, so you need to send me a message on Xbox. My name is Codychaotey, and I'll get you in as soon as time permits and whatnot. All right, so until that time, let's get paid.